Ukololomi, do you gana lo?
Ukololomi, do you gana lo? Dilubambe, kesana dio genana lo. Eka Yesu.
Ukololomi, do you gana lo?
Ukololomi,
do you gana lo? Dilubambe,
kesana dio genana lo. Eka Yesu.
Modimo alite.
Hayo matanda, hayo matanda, hayo modimo alite.
Modimo alite. Hayo matanda. Amorimo alite.
Modimo alite.
Ukololomi, do you gana lo?
Ukololomi,
Do you gana lo? Dilubambe,
kesana dio genana lo. Eka Yesu.
Ukololomi, do you gana lo?
Ukololomi, do you gana lo? Dilubambe, kesana dio genana lo. Eka Yesu.
Modimo alite.
Hayo matanda,
Ayo matanda. Ayo matanda.
modimo alite.
Modimo alite. Ayo matanda. Amorimo alite.
Modimo alite.
Ayo, 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 ayo. Ayo, 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 ayo. Ayo, 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 ayo. Ayo matanda. Amorimo alite. Ayo, 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 ayo. Ayo matanda. Ayo matanda. Ayo, 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 ayo. Ayo matanda. Amorimo alite. Ayo, 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 ayo. Ayo.
Of course, good morning, and what a wonderful way to start a wonderful Friday for a weekend. My name is Bright. Newday has just taken over that beautiful performance by that group that you will be seeing all of this morning. They will be with us throughout and will be giving us those excellent music to make your morning a great one. If you remember TV3 celebrations, these guys were around and they thrilled patrons to those beautiful melodious tunes. This morning, they'll be with us just to make your weekend a great one. I am not alone this morning. Johnny the Hughes is here, and Amma the Angelina is also here. Good morning.
Be careful. Amma the what?
Angelina.
I refuse that name.
But we signed up the name
Please,
last
no,
week.
I didn't agree to it. But
Angelina will break the concertina.
my friend,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
So that was the tap music
the tap to
industry,
play.
giving us beautiful melodious songs from South Africa.
Yeah.
They will be performing very soon. We'll tell you more about that, so you don't want to change the dial. Today we've got so much here for you, as usual, making your Friday exciting. We're going to talk about World Heart Day. There'll be a walk tomorrow, and all of us have to go there to make sure our hearts are working very well, because we don't want you to die early. My heart, your heart. Yes.
Except that someone nearly broke my heart.
Oh, but if
Your heart can be broken.
if somebody breaks your heart, you live on your liver.
Okay,
Don't mind
that's
him.
fine.
We'll just
Okay.
mend it
Okay,
for
that's
him.
fine.
We'll tell
Is
us.
there anything like privacy in marriage?
There should be.
Is there?
Well, it depends on how you are. What's it
Yeah,
called?
I mean,
You define it.
Amma,
Pretty much, it would be difficult to really say. There probably won't be a clear-cut one, but there are people who try to be private in that they keep secrets and don't share.
I am wondering,
Right, stop that name.
Why Johnny
Is asking.
trying to
Oh,
expose.
is a conversation.
She's
that
asking
will
a
happen.
question.
He's trying to expose himself.
Really?
The man just got married.
So
a
I'm
few months
asking-
ago, and
Yes,
asking
and
questions
he's-
about marriage.
It means that for him there is no private. The way he says, is
so
there
he's-
really?
he's
It means
really-
there's none for
he's
him,
feeling certain
which is
things at
great.
home.
But that
Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, we'll be discussing that later today. So
Okay,
I'm just
alright.
curious. I'm just
Yeah.
asking. I
Okay.
mean, then, you know,
it's a
people-
gray area, but
but
there
I-
shouldn't be.
Now,
I feel. I mean, you
for
become
example,
one.
believes that look, your phone is yours and not
shouldn't be
that of your
touched.
spouse.
Let me tell you one thing. I have a way of keeping my stuff. That's the privacy I have
Okay.
in my home.
Okay.
So when I come to work and I get money, the moment I get to the door, my gate, I take all the money and then hide it in my socks.
If I hope you are listening to your father this morning.
So once I walked into the house, the first place is go to the washroom,
Okay.
count the money, and then I get it.
Sort it out and put it somewhere.
All right,
Interesting.
really, and that's the privacy.
Yes.
But,
Well
but,
done.
but there are
If you put it there, they will take it.
oh,
Who
I
are
see.
they?
Of
They?
course.
I know they.
You know those people who take it.
I know those
But there
who
are also,
take it.
there are also those who
And when they
have,
take it, you can't complain.
Yes.
Why should you?
Oh, no, you can't
Sharing is
complain.
caring. I
So-
mean, it's for all of us.
But do you
my-
share
my
your
socks
do you
is,
share your
uh,
money too?
I do.
Share their
Yes,
money
women
too.
share
All right.
freely.
So
When you go to the market and we're buying things for you, don't bring you the entire bill. We actually wrap it
It's
up
a
for
Friday
you.
morning.
So
We're
trust
getting
me, we
excited.
share.
I know a few
Right.
brothers who have their phones, they have passwords on their phones, and on every application there's a
Really? Why would you put yourself through that? So if you have touch wood, a brain damage, how then do we access all the important information?
He
you
will
get
use
there?
his eyes to open the food.
In
Okay.
his death, he shall rise.
All
Anyway,
right.
Grace is joining us this morning.
Oh, Grace,
How
how
are
you doing?
you?
Do you think
Fine,
there's any
thank you.
privacy? Okay, you're not married in a relationship.
For a relationship,
Yes.
there is.
There is?
But for marriage?
Yeah. But for marriage, the two of you have agreed that this is where we're
So
going.
what? So
and
your
so,
freedom,
So you're
your
one.
freedom
You're one.
is finished.
no, I didn't say that.
freedom.
That's freedom.
Why
There's
is this
different
like
difference
who's
between
hanging
freedom
your rope?
and
Who's
privacy,
on my
Johnny.
Yeah.
We'll
so
talk
there's
about
no
that.
privacy
In marriage,
but there's
to some
privacy
extent.
in relationship.
yes. I
When
mean,
you
anything can happen at any time, and so
When
you
like
want to
your
be
side
careful.
boy calls you, you can hide the phone from
Okay.
your wife.
Anyway, Grace, let's
Oh,
take
Amy, stop disturbing me.
Let Grace take the news this morning.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the headlines. Embattled gold dealership company Mangold has sued the Securities and Exchanges Commission and the Bank of Ghana. Member of Parliament for Asawase Muntaka Muhammad Mubarak has called for calm among the youth in his constituency over the shooting and killing of 7 people by the police in the Ashanti region. Members of the ECOWAS Parliament and MP for Tamale Central Haji Inu Safuseni has indicated that Ghana has done nothing wrong in enforcing laws to protect the interests and businesses of its citizens. Now, the exploits of DJ prodigy DJ Swish has caught the eye of some of the world's most influential personalities. My name is Grace Hamwasari. Let's go to the details now. Embattled gold dealership company Mangold has sued the Securities and Exchanges Commission (SEC) and the Bank of Ghana. The company in its suit is seeking from the court an order directing the two institutions to stop interfering in its business.
Mangold Ghana Limited has filed suit this afternoon against the Bank of Ghana and the Securities and Exchange Commission. We have been constrained to do so because we have been left with no other choice. Under the circumstances, we have filed suit to seek a healthy determination of our rights to enable us make progress.
CEO of Mangold, Nanaya Ofe, assured customers of payments of dividends starting September 28.
In the interim period, we are very much alive to the needs of our customers. It is, however, important to note that the recent circumstances has dislodged the shape and the projections of our business. To that end, we have set out a payment schedule starting tomorrow to be circulated to all our customers. Customers are encouraged to only visit their branches on the date for their collections, as the schedule will strictly be adhered to avoid overcrowding at the branches.
Head of Communications of the company, George Quay, explained the modalities for payment.
It's going to be based on dates. So, for instance, if yours matured, say, on the 1st of August, you come on a particular day. So maybe from 1st to 5th, they have a particular day on which they would come. And that, when I say on which they would go, it means that they go to their various branches. You have a particular day on which you'd attend, and this begins from tomorrow. So customers are encouraged to just stay calm and wait till they get their messages. It would be via SMS, and they would get it. And when they get it, they will know when to go. It begins tomorrow, it runs all the way through next week until everybody is sorted.
Let's go to Parliament, where Member of Parliament for Asawase, Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak, has called for calm among the youth in his constituency over the shooting and killing of 7 people by the police in the Ashanti region. In a statement on the floor of Parliament, the Minority Chief Whip also wanted the Ashanti Regional Minister to be invited to brief the House on happenings in the area so far.
In July this year, some police officers in the Ashanti region shot and killed 7 people in Asawase and Abuabo. The 7, according to the police, were mistaken for armed robbers. Recently, the youth in the community wanted the report of a committee set up to investigate the matter to be made public since it had completed its work. MP for the area, Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak, in a statement on the floor of Parliament Thursday, urged his constituents to remain calm.
I will plead with the community elders to continue to hold the community together, and the youth, that they should know that even if justice is being sought, it can only be sought in a peaceful environment. It cannot be sought in a chaotic environment. And I hope that they will take our plea seriously and also plead with government to do what they can as fast as possible just to be able to hold the community together.
He wanted the Ashanti Regional Minister to appear before Parliament to brief them on happenings so far. Minister for the Interior and MP for Nandom, Ambrose Derry, said the Ashanti Regional Minister had since forwarded the report to the presidency and said government would ensure justice is done.
I agree with him that there is a need for us to pursue this matter in a manner that will ensure that there is no breach of peace. I also want to thank him for the appeal he's made to his constituents, and also want to express my condolences to all those families who have lost relations.
A member of the ECOWAS Parliament and MP for Tamale Central, Haji Inusa Husseini, has indicated that Ghana has done nothing wrong in enforcing laws to protect the interests and business of its people. He spoke in an interview earlier.
It's unfortunate that our Nigerian brothers have attacked Parliament for rectifying a protocol that seeks to establish conditions for the free movement of goods and services, and to blame Parliament for also enacting the GIPC law. These two things are not inconsistent. Free movement of goods and services, or free movement of goods and people, simply mean that we must break down borders and allow goods and people to move freely within those borders. But those goods and services are subject to the legal regimes of the various sovereign states. That's how the law operates. We have not yet come to a situation where we have one ECOWAS. That is why if you are a Nigerian and you come to Ghana, you can stay in Ghana for a certain limited period of time. Well, we say that in order to safeguard the sovereign interests of Ghana, which is what? To provide employment for the people of Ghana. Mind you, Ghana has no obligation to provide employment for the people of Nigeria.
Let's do some other stories now. A communication committee of Parliament meeting with the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association was nearly marred when a misunderstanding between the chairman, Kennedy Ejapong, and a member erupted, resulting in an abrupt suspension of the meeting. The confusion was later resolved. Meanwhile, the committee is to invite the Communications Minister, Mangold Lawsuit, to brief members on matters relating to the StarTimes deal.
The Communications Committee on Thursday met with the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association (GIBA) over the StarTimes deal. Chairman of the committee, Kennedy Ejapong, and MP for Ningo Prampram, Sam George, both walked out of the meeting due to a misunderstanding the two had.
I wasn't happy what he said yesterday with the Imani, but he had the reason for saying whatever he said, because somebody made a statement actually insulting the integrity of the committee. So his response, we had earlier met that we were going to meet Giba on Thursday. So I was surprised to hear him talking. So I've apologized to him.
There's fantastic relationships between all of us in the committee. I have great respect for my chairman and my ranking, and will continue to act solely. I mean, it's simply because we are passionate about Ghana and the broadcast space. Don't forget, my chairman is a member of GIBA also. So this whole thing affects him. And we won't be standing here together if there had been a confrontation.
The chairman said the meeting with GIBA was fruitful. He said the committee would invite the Communications Minister, Esla Owusu, to brief them on the deal.
We are left in the dark. We have an invitation. It's a stakeholders meeting, and committee, we are also there. You see, my members will say that I have a slip lip. All this problem happened because of the minister.
Chairman of the Council of Elders, Chief Crystal Jirako, said the committee cooperated well with them and was unbiased. He hopes the Ministry of Communication would also respond in a manner that would ensure Ghana has a good deal.
We do not think, as GIBA, that there should be insults in this. This is a serious national issue, and everybody has a right to contribute. But in contributing, you should make sure that we are leading somewhere. This is not political. And if you are not critical about looking at it that way, we will all get it wrong. And so dialogue is the way forward.
Now we go to the law courts, where lawyers for the Bank of Ghana, led by Frank Davis, have challenged the legitimacy of the General Jurisdiction High Court to hear an application filed by a shareholder of the defunct Unibank Ghana Limited seeking to set aside government takeover of the bank. Dr. Kwabena Dufour is challenging the actions of the central bank, leading to the revocation of the license of Unibank, which is now a part of the Consolidated Bank of Ghana. A report by Salom Amenya.
In court on Thursday, counsel for the Bank of Ghana, lawyer Frank Davis, requested for the case to be put on hold, indicating that a September 26 letter written to the Chief Justice, Sophia Kufu, is seeking an administrative determination whether the General Jurisdiction Division of the High Court is the appropriate forum to hear the case. They believe it is a pure commercial case which should have been heard by a commercial high court. However, lead counsel for Unibank, Chachu Chikata, raised a number of concerns, arguing that they did not have a copy of the supposed letter. Additionally, Chachu Chikata contended the letter addressed to the Chief Justice by the defendant constitute an administrative inquiry that should not stop the court from proceeding with the matter before it. He was also of the view that what the defendants are seeking should have been done through a motion. The court, presided over by Justice Daniel Mensah, in its ruling, said as a justice of the High Court, he is subject to the direction of the Chief Justice. To that effect, he is constrained and left with the option to hold the case pending a determination by the Chief Justice. He thus adjourned the case to October 17, 2018 for hearing.
Still in the law courts, a justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Paul Kojo Bafuboni, has supported calls to retain the death penalty in Ghana's law books. The Supreme Court justice argues that laws are meant to protect society, and society will have no protection if serious crimes are committed without punishment.
The call for the removal of the death penalty from Ghana's law books began in mid-2000s when human rights groups began agitating that it was wrong to take the life of a person who commits murder. Since then, it became an open debate with divergent views. The current Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Quay, has been quoted as supporting calls to retain the law. His call found favor with Justice Paul Kojo Bafoboni, who questioned the moral justification of those calling for the removal of the death penalty.
A lot of people are talking about abolishing death sentences because you don't know if you kill somebody and the person is later found to be not guilty. Since when was somebody killed in Ghana? Even though we have people serving death sentences. So let them be there.
The Supreme Court Justice again asked the human rights campaigners to put themselves in the shoes of victims whose interests the laws are protecting.
If somebody goes to the mosque on Friday to kill more than people, or he goes to the church on Sunday to kill so many people, then you say that's human rights. So he should not be sentenced to death. I mean, what sort of human beings are we? Long sentences are there to be given, and they will continue to be given for as long as people continue to commit grievous offenses.
The last execution carried out in Ghana was in 1993 by firing squad. A total of 160 individuals were on death row as at the end of 2017. The number rose from 29 in August 2015 to 148 by the end of 2016. Crimes and offenses punishable by death are murder, treason, war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide. Other offenses not resulting in death but may attract the death penalty are attempted murder, aggravated piracy, and assault with intent to murder.
Away from the court, the exploits of DJ prodigy DJ Switch has caught the eye of some of the world's most influential personalities. Philanthropist and wife of business magnate Bill and Melinda Gates have also been admiring the special gift of DJ Switch. In the latest video, the winner of Talented Kids Season 8 and pupil of Talented Royal International School is seen interacting and posing with Melinda Gates. Photographs of DJ Switch and international model Naomi Campbell have also emerged. Certainly, DJ Switch is going places. That's all for now. My name is Grace Hamwa Asari. New Day is back after this break. Don't go away.
Welcome back. You're still here on New Day, and as usual, how we do it on Fridays is to try and make you happy and excited for the weekend. But we told you in the morning that we had the Top Music Ministry. They were part of Celebrations 2016 organized by TV3, and they're joining us this morning because they have an exciting show coming up and they want to tell us all about it so we can join them. Good morning.
Good morning.
So tell us a bit about the Top Music Ministry. Where are you coming from? What put you together and why now?
We are coming from Krobo Dumasi.
Okay.
And it's a church choir.
Where is Krobo Dumasi located?
In East region.
Great. Okay. In Ghana.
Yes, in Ghana.
Nice.
And it's a church choir.
Okay.
But after the celebration, we've decided to make it interdenominational, that everybody can join.
So you don't have to be in the same church.
No,
People
no,
coming from various churches.
Various
nice.
churches,
Okay. So how long have you been together?
Just 3 years.
Just 3 years. 3 years is not just, you can do a lot in that. But great. So after celebrations, what have you been doing?
We've been doing concerts, musical concerts,
And you've got one coming up over the weekend.
Yeah.
So tell us about it.
This coming Sunday, we'll be having the Tab in South Africa. We'll be performing South African songs.
But you'll be in Ghana?
We'll be in Ghana.
Okay.
We just want to bring South Africa to
Ghana. Nice. But why South Africa?
We just love them and we love their songs, and we've decided to organize this one for them.
Okay, so where is that taking place and how do we get there?
Odumasi, if you take car from Accra, from Circle, from Medina, Odumasi Krobo, if you say you are going to Liberty, Liberty Arena, that's all.
Liberty Arena, what time?
It's 6 o'clock.
Are we paying
PM.
to come?
No, it's free.
It's free.
Yeah,
so all you need is the transportation fare to get there and a heart ready to worship. Great. So we'd like to hear some more music from you. And since we're still in Ghana, but you're giving us a taste of South Africa, take us away.
Okay.
Man. The Tap Music Ministry. You remember them from celebrations. Well, we're taking off 6 p.m. On Saturday at Krobo Dumas, and you can't miss it. You've got to be there. It's absolutely free. But let's check out the front page stories now. The Daily Graphic starts us off. It says tight security as a Premdo riots erupt over festival and stakeholders reach agreement on DTT infrastructure. Illegal chainsaw operators adopt tricks to evade security and reopen shops of foreigners. Government of Nigeria is asking. Is in a conversation, a special supplement on Nigeria's National Day. The Daily Guide says Kundum Festival turns bloody. IMF bounces NDC over Sino deal, and Mangold sues Bank of Ghana, of course, with SEC in the mix. Unibank takeover case adjourned, and blows in Parliament over Star Times. The Ghanaian Times, 2 MPs tango over Star Times deal. Comes with a photograph of Canada, Japan, and Honorable Sam George there. MDAs must respond to audit queries within 30 days, says the Auditor General. Mangold drags Bank of Ghana SEC to court and chieftaincy factions clash at Apremdo. Plus, MOC stakeholders agree to proceed with digital migration. Ministry of Communication then. The Daily Statement, some George Kennedy Japan fight over StarTimes deal. Ghanaians abroad demand swift prosecution of corrupt officials. And IMF exposes NDC's ignorance over vindicates Dr. Baumia on the $2 billion Sino-Hydro deal. The Independent says we trust China with our eyes open. Shirley Ayoko Boche is a Minister for Foreign Affairs. It's Ghana-China relations. We must tighten our laws. Dr. Lloyd Amoa advises, and strongly so. That's the front page stories we have there.
Interestingly, you know the story that the Independent captures about Ghana-China relations and the fact that we need to strengthen our laws.
Okay.
For me, it's, again, something we've heard time and again. And when it comes to the ground, whether it's practical, whether people are willing, beyond political will, to actually get that done, is what we have to start talking about.
Yeah.
Because even recently, considering this Nigerian issue, where we have a law that clearly spells out what is supposed to be done and how they should engage, we go and we say, we're going into negotiation, we're going to educate them, and blah, blah, blah. That's how come these people infiltrate and take over our space. Because your laws are weak. Your laws don't seem to be, you know, practical and workable, because you put them in paper, it's there, sitting there waiting for someone to come and just talk about it. But it's high time we start enforcing them. Otherwise, it becomes something that is just a cliche. I know I would hear it over and over again, but nothing will be done about it. So I just wish that politicians would move beyond just saying it, beyond just hearing it, and actually be willing to do something about it drastically. I'm tired of this, Johnny. I'm tired of having to talk about the laws.
I know, right? I mean, talking about laws, and it is not as if we have weak laws. It's about the implementation.
Enforcement, exactly.
Yesterday, when I was going back home, I saw a police officer sitting behind an Okada rider. The Okada rider had a helmet, but the police officer didn't have a helmet. Very nice, beautiful lady. And it was right at the junction where the president's house is, at Nima Junction, where the Nima Police Divisional Office is. And there was a police MTTD officer right at the traffic light, and they were all watching. I dare say that if it was a civilian who had turned up that way without a helmet and two guys sitting on a motorbike, the laws would have worked there and then. So it is a matter of fact that we pick and choose which of the laws we want to enforce and we want to make work. Rightly, as you stated, look, we know what our retail market trade laws are. Then you get people come in and flout the law. And then we say what? We are negotiating. So
for what?
Professor Lloyd says, well, let's get it done. And well, I don't believe it will go anywhere. If you ask me, I really don't believe it will go anywhere.
But you know, talking about the police, yesterday I encountered an unfortunate situation, and you know, Accra, the Accra girls area. Yeah. So there was a driver who had passed the traffic light, and there were police just there. So they asked him to stop, and he attempted to. He saw that, well, they weren't going to be able to give him a goose chase, so he ran away.
He just went off.
And I was right behind him, and so constantly he kept looking back to see if they were, behind him. And I thought how unfortunate it is, because first of all, as a citizen, you know you've broken the law. And the worst case scenario is at least to stand so that the police informs you on whatever it is, whatever wrong you've committed, because you know it. I don't even see why you expect the police to chase you. And that's where it brought to my mind how many times we do these things because we know the law doesn't work. It doesn't work. Look, and so I'm sure he's thinking, when are you going to get a vehicle to actually transport you, to come and find me, and all that. So I might as well do, because a similar incident happened last week around the Legon area. There was someone in the car also with a DV plate, and I think the police had tracked him quite from a distance, because you could see them giving him a run. And immediately they told him to stop. He agrees. Then there's a long pause at the traffic light, and so I think he was scheming how to get away with it. So immediately the lights turned green. John, you should have seen the speed with which he was driving. And I was just thinking, because you are attempting to run away from the police, if you knock someone down alone, what are you going to do? Only say sorry, and that ends it. I think for most of us, we take advantage of the law because we feel it doesn't work. See, I think we should just get to enforcing it. We should all be passionate about the enforcement, and that will end quite a majority of our issues that we have in Ghana, honestly.
In 2016, I had a chance to interview the director of the, what do you call it, the National Road Safety Commission. And I asked a simple question because I had seen some cameras mounted at the Flagstaff House Junction, at the Nima roundabout, some roundabouts. So I asked a question. I said, look, what are these cameras supposed to be for? Are they supposed to be for surveillance to know which drivers are breaking the law, take a photo of them like we see in advanced country? The man said, well, yes, but this is just a pilot, and that by the next year, which was 2017, we were going to have a widespread so that if you jump the red light, it takes a photo of you, your car, your number plate, and you can pick it up from there. There'll be a surveillance team. We're in 2018. It's 28th September, Friday. Where are the cameras?
I have no idea.
So now the police were being told after Chief Inspector Ashilevi died, we were told that they will be retooled. Recently, there were 100 cars that came up. These 100 cars, plus the mobile police unit on motorbikes, are they effective enough?
Exactly.
Okay, so they need complement because look, clearly, if you go through, you jump a red light, and the policeman is there standing without a motorbike, he's helpless. He can only watch it and see you go.
Exactly.
If he flags you and you stand, and you stop, he can talk to you. But if he flags you and you don't mind him, nothing happens. Where still, he doesn't even have a gota
to communicate to
the next point that, look, this is what is happening. The gota is with the big men who are in their offices. Now, the men who get on the ground, they don't have it. They don't have sidearms. Some of them don't even have handcuffs. They have nothing. They are just wearing black uniforms, and they are roaming town. Doing what?
Johnny, meanwhile, outside this country, you wouldn't think about it. You wouldn't dare, because you know how well the laws work there. Because most of the issues we see on our front papers wouldn't be there if the laws were being enforced. That, for me, is the basis. I think this is what we have to all do. Agree. As individuals, we are the enforcers of the law as well. It's not only the police agencies or the security or government. Every single one of us. If you break a law, you're only setting precedents for other people to copy the same, and it becomes a trend. Let's stop it now. Anyway, it's time for us to run. So we're talking about special prosecutor. Yeah. He's talking about the challenges.
He said he's not a magician.
He certainly isn't.
And somebody has said that, well, his role is useless because, and the folks out there in the diaspora have been demonstrating. They say they want to see him work. He's too slow. He's too dull. He says, look, I don't have the things, and I'm not a magician. I'm just using common sense to work. Does it break my heart? Yes, it does break my heart, because the kind of hope we had, and with all the talk about fighting corruption, and the thinking that Mr. Martin Amidu was going to help us to fight it. I don't get that. I don't get that vim again. And surprisingly, you don't get the president talking about it as much as he did when he was appointing Mr. Martin Amidu. You don't get MPP party functionaries talking about it as much as they did before in the run-up to the appointment of Mr. Martin. You don't get anybody. Everybody's quiet.
You see, that's
it's as if we know that, look, we have put the man there, perhaps set him up to fail, because we spoke about funding for his office. That, look, you can give him all the powers in this world. If he doesn't have the funding to go about investigations and chase cases, and now we're being told that chiefs are being sent to him to go and beg him on behalf of people who have offended the law. And so, well, he said it's not a magician. I agree.
I agree. But Tony, we said it, that, some of these implementations are rushed because it's a good idea. Everyone seems to buy into the idea of special prosecutor. But you put him in an office and it's only the space. How is he supposed to work with that logistics? And so I think we should hasten soon.
And even assistance.
Right now, he's there. We've given him the office. So let's make sure we tool him enough to work. But it's time for us to run. Let's find out what your take is on this issue.
A very good morning and welcome to Daily Rants here on Newday. I'm Josh Quinn. We are live on DSTV channel 279. And Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu has for the first time spoken openly about the challenges he's facing in executing his mandate. And for him, he lacks all the resources and also there's no legislation. And as it stands now, he's working with his common sense. And is that not a clear indication that government is dragging its feet in the fight against corruption? And so, is that a reality on the ground? This is Daily Rant. Let's keep talking.
I believe that you cannot appoint somebody to hold a very great office or a sensitive office in this nature and the person wouldn't be resourced. If the person does not deliver, then who is causing the harm? Because the person is working and at the end of the month, the person is being paid. So Martin Amidu sits down without working and at the end of the month, we pay the person. So are we not causing financial loss to the state?
Instead,
I think that we are causing financial loss to the state. So if president really thinks that that office does not need anymore, then it means that he should write officially to the first special prosecutor to abrogate the contract.
If Nanado Dankwa should continue neglecting his opinion and also neglecting the fact that he needs to be supported, others might think that it's because he's from the opposition party, he's not ready to support him. So I'll plead with him, the best thing to do is rather support him. But if you make it look like you live it like this, people will be like, okay, that's why you intentionally went in for someone who was in the opposite party. Because we all believe if Dr. Hamidu was an MPP person, he'd have been given more support than this. Yes, so you should put in his best to take that perception out of our minds, so that yes, when he's able to support him, come on, we all know that yes, this is his job and he must do it well.
He's not having a secretary. He's not having vehicles to move in and out. So at the end of the day, you realize that he's there, just bearing the name.
So you think the president doesn't know about this? Because I know Martin Amidu is just like this with a man. He can walk to Jubilee House and talk to the president.
One thing I come to realize is that we are like dogs. We bark, but we don't bite. The president is there. He knows all about this. That Martin Amidu is not having the resources that he should work with. So he should go ahead, resource the person. And even if he's not doing the job, call him that have resourced you. Why are you not doing your job? Then you can query him on that. But yet, you have not given him anything at the end of the month, at the end of the day. You'll be expecting him that what I've given you, you are not delivering what I expected you to deliver. So I think the president should look at it very well. If really Martin Amidu is there to work for this country, to bring this corruption to a minimum, then he should do something about it.
In area of this country, the dispensation we are in, we're looking at political dispensation here. Now, we're not doing partisan politics. This is free and fair. The government himself brought this man to book and told the general public that this is the kind of person we need. You get it. Now, take this picture. When it is about NDC and MPP, he sat down and then he chose. He made his right choices. You get it. There are a lot of people competent enough to take that duty. Now, with what my colleagues said, I see that when it comes to resources, what are we talking about? I mean, it is not about car. It is not about secretary. For crying out loud, things are happening in this nation. In much respect to corruption. Are you trying to tell me zero tolerance for corruption after now? We still don't have people who are still squandering the money of this country? Come on. We shouldn't bear false witness against ourselves. We know what is happening. You get it. Now, talking about resources, what kind of resources are we looking at? Is there secretary?
Got lawyers to work with.
Come on, a lot of lawyers in this country.
And then also there's no LI to back his work.
Chief.
And so
There
he
are
uses
lawyers
his
in this
common
country.
sense.
So what are you talking about?
So as it stands now, he's using his common sense to work.
So what I'm just saying that what my brother has just cited, you see, there is something it didn't go down well with me.
What is it?
Talking about appointment, he has accepted the appointment. He has accepted the appointment, and even the day that he was being interviewed, I listened to everything thoroughly. And when government appoints you, government provides, he makes provision so that you go into the office there and discharge your duties effectively and efficiently. But when you go to the office and there is nothing there, and even if it has what you need has to pass through the parliament, and I believe he has made such provisions through the parliament, and parliament must convey.
Because the parliament that
I'm coming. And the parliament, just a minute. And parliament has to also relay the information to the president himself. And as we talk in this country, we all know that Martin Amidu is the first special prosecutor of this country. Even if you don't like the person. Why? Because the person comes from the other opposition. Then what of even if you bring your own man from your party and the office is not resourced? Then what happens?
But guys, don't you think this is more like government is dragging its feet in the fight against corruption?
Mr. Host, I want to know this. Okay. Now, why do you sit down till this time? Come on. Why do you sit down?
At least you should get a green light from government.
First of all, before they even gave you that post, they told you the exact day you start. So why didn't you tell the president these are the necessary things I will need?
No,
Till now.
He did.
Now, wait a minute. Now, if he did, If he did, are you trying to tell me that the president who has appointed such a special duty to such a special individual in both areas, the parties as in the NDC and the MPP and the other political parties knows about this, and you're looking at this aspect whereby he's saying that I don't have this, come on, a farmer can't go to the farm without a cutlass. So you don't tell me that you need resources because we have a lot of people around.
So why wouldn't you wait and get all these, you know, provided before you?
No. But here's the case that here, you know, the job is huge. You understand? The job is huge, and how it is huge and big. Okay, he cannot go and be at a certain corner and be working. It will not even for his own. You see, the job is very, very sensitive to him. It's dear to the nation of this country.
I think
and
I would have resigned if I were
and that is why we are saying that. That's why we are saying that.
A sabotage. Do you get it? Yes, with the sense that he belongs to NDC, which is an oppositional party. So once you have picked the person from there, instead of you to resource the person, you are dragging your feet. At the end of the term, you will say that he's not able to deliver what you were expecting him to do. So it's a sabotage.
Let me say this. It is not a sabotage. That's why earlier on I said that. That's why earlier on I said that.
It's a sabotage.
If President thinks that because he belongs to NDC, and then that means it doesn't have any correlation with him, then the better thing to do is, okay, Martin Amidou, I appointed you as special prosecutor of this country. Therefore, maybe, or I don't need your what? I don't need your service again. So gently you ask the person to resign.
You're talking about resources. And what did you just say? You said, what do you call it? Sabotaging. Who is sabotaging who? Come on, wait a minute. How can I appoint somebody, employ someone, bring him to post and pay him every month and still sabotage him?
Why don't you do what you expected to do?
Part of government to honor all those things. I think
just provide the things
Can I come in here?
Yes, please come.
My brother.
Oh, yes, come.
Listen, I went to the university and did law, commercial law. You are talking about the fact that the government need to bleach that contract.
Yes.
What are Ghanaians going to talk about? Now let's take it from the point whereby Martin Amidou is saying that he needs resources. He laid out all those resources. Now, are you trying to tell me in this country, since 1957 till date, we don't have issues, we don't have problems, people are not still stealing money, government coffers? Are you trying to tell me that? No, you are trying to tell me.
With his development, I know Martinamidi, the office is supposed to work with the, Yoko and anti-corruption.
Exactly.
And so even if Martinamidi is not working, Yoko is doing that work. And so it has replicated his duties. And so it's
so even if it is needless in another way, I'm coming. If it is needless in another way, the point is that president saw whether he will work or he wouldn't work. The other third party will work. Even if Martin Amidou, please, I'm coming just a minute. Even if Martin Amidou wouldn't even work. But now that you have made the nation to understand that you have appointed Martin Amidou as first special prosecutor of this country, the bottom line of the issue is that resource him to work.
Let me say something. Why don't we sit down? You get it? Take a country like South Africa. 1992. Compare the margin. Ghana and South Africa. When you went to the World Cup, imagine Malaysia, imagine Rwanda, even Liberia recently. Do you get it? Now, since that time, we said we are the first African country. You can't treat any BA.
Gateway to even Africa.
You get it? Now, why are we still sitting in our A, B, C, trying to find blame? That I need resources, I need that. If you know you need resources, what do you have to do? If you want to talk to your father, you need something, what do? You go to your father.
So, guys, let's hope that after this interview, the government will intervene and
do it for him.
And I know you watching also want to join in the discussion.
Thank you very much.
Log on to our social media platforms.
Thank
on
you very
Facebook,
much.
it's News on TV3.
Thank you.
And on Twitter, it's a News TV3. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your Friday.
Thank you.
Welcome back. It's time for us to talk about World Heart Day, which we'll be celebrating by a walk. That Media General is collaborating, of course, TWI Foundation from Media General is collaborating with the National Cardiothoracic Center. Ken Addo, he is the group head for events, lifestyle and entertainment here at Media General. He's going to tell us about it. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning, Doctor.
So tomorrow, what's happening?
Well, tomorrow is the World Heart Day, and like you rightly said, TWI Foundation, which is out of Media General, and Media General, which also has a a strong value for concern for our community, is leading this project. We are collaborating with the National Cardiothoracic Center and also with the MTN Foundation to lead a massive walk through Accra. And it's to help to raise funds to also support our Think Heart and Save a Child campaign and initiative that has been running for some time now. You know that we've been supporting children with Hole in Heart, and of course we need to raise more funds to help these children across the country. And so tomorrow we are having this great massive walk across Accra. We are starting from the Ifwa Sutherland Children's Park through the ministries, through Osudankwa Circle. We go through Cantonment and we hit 37. We come back through the Jubilee House Road through here, Akwaje, back to Ifwa Sutherland Children's Park.
That's a long stretch.
Yeah.
About 10 kilometers out here. So tomorrow, when we all convene, how are we going to, you know, go about the whole activity, and what other activities do you have planned? And of course, you mentioned, you know, raising funds. How are we going to be able to contribute to that?
Well, basically, there's an account number that's been running on screen for some time. And tomorrow at the Children's Park as well, when we gather, before we leave, we announce. We'll come back, we'll have aerobics, we'll have free health screening exercises, heart screening exercises and all. And then we will announce again. We use the opportunity to announce to everybody the very importance of how we need to support and help, you know, take care of these children. And so that is the platform we are going to use. Of course, we are going to use other outlets in terms of internet, and also give the people all the information they need through the media.
Okay, so what are some of the do's and don'ts for tomorrow, if there's anything like that?
Well, the do's is you have to be there by 5 a.m., 5:30, we hit the road. And so, you know, like you said, it's a long stretch. So we hit the road by latest 5:30 a.m., and then that's the do. The don't is you don't have to eat anything, you know, pepper or anything before you get there. We are going to provide fruits and refreshment at the end of the, you know, walk and everything. So basically, these are the only two. The rest is just look sporty. Come in your sneakers, come in your T-shirts. We're going to give out some T-shirts as well. So make sure you are there. We need you to be there so we can raise this awareness to support the campaign.
Is there any exclusion criteria per chance?
Well, I mean, unless you're not well. Unless you're not well. But I mean, everybody can walk unless you're not well. So you have to come and let's support this great initiative.
Very well. But why is it so important that 3 Foundation would embark on this journey?
Well, like I said, we have concern for community. Without the viewer, without the listener as a media house, we don't have anything, because they are out there to watch us. They are out there to listen to us. So our concern for community started with this initiative, Think Heart, Save a Child. And of course, looking at cardiovascular disease and everything, it has to do with the heart. And so this experience, this initiative that we took right from the onset, the management and everybody agreed to this. And so we said, okay, why not do this? World Heart Day, Think Heart, Save a Child. And the theme for this year is your heart and everything, your heart, my heart, your heart. And so it's very, very paramount, it's very relevant that we take this initiative, and so that is the basic reason for it.
Very well. So I'm sure you've heard the reason why we should all join in the walk tomorrow as we celebrate World Heart Day. My heart, your heart is very important to keep us all alive. So let's go support the 3 Foundation and the National Cardiothoracic Center. Remember, you may have a friend, a relative, someone you know who has a heart condition and may need support. And so if you contribute, at least that person can access the support that the 3 Foundation is providing for corrective surgery. On that note, I'd like to say thank you to you, Ken Ado. He is the group head for lifestyle, events and entertainment here with the Media General Group. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more here on New Day. Don't go away.
Good morning and welcome back to the show. The newspapers are ready. Daily Guide has this top story: IMF bounces NDC over Sino deal. Minority leader and the finance minister's photograph are there. The BNFT says pump in more liquidity to arrest panic situation. The Bank of Ghana has been told. And then in Apremdo,
in the Western region, not very good news. Tight security, we're told. Some injured persons here. The Kundum Festival running into some problem there. And of course, the DDT issue. We're told by the Daily Graphic that stakeholders have reached an agreement on the infrastructure. And this issue, if you've been following, the Nigerians had a demonstration far away in Abuja, and on the Daily Graphic, reopen shops of foreigners, government. That's the story here. My guest this morning to do the talking, the Member of Parliament for the Ablekuma Central Constituency, is a member of the NPP. Honorable Ibn Zanate is here. Good morning.
Good morning.
And hope you're doing great.
By God's grace.
Thanks for joining us. And also a member of the NDC, a member of Parliament for the Bongo constituency of the Upper East region. Honorable Edward Bauer is here. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Hope you're doing great.
By His grace.
Great. Thanks for coming. Now, let's start our conversation with this story. Daily Guide says that the IMF bounces NDC. It is quoting the information minister, who has confirmed on radio that the IMF team met officials at the Ministry of Finance and later the Finance Committee of Parliament and confirmed that the arrangement with Chinese cannot qualify as a loan. This is the Daily Guide quoting Mr. Kujo Ponkroma. He said the IMF determined that the arrangement is not backed with a government guarantee after the NDC minority in Parliament reported that the government reported the government to the Bretton Woods institutions. Now, if you continue to page 4, the story continues that the NDC wanted the IMF to stop the deal because they claimed it was illegal. Illegal is in quote, even though the same political grouping had helped in passing the agreement in Parliament before the House went on recess in late July. Let's clear this one quickly. This is a story that we have spoken several times about it. Honorable Bauer, let me start with you. Now, the paper quotes Mr. Ponkroma and said that he was speaking on radio and confirmed that the IMF team met officials at the ministry and later the Finance Committee of Parliament and confirmed the arrangement is not a loan. Now, if you remember, the last time the IMF spoke about it, it said that it had adjourned decision on that matter to a meeting expected later on. Now, has this also come to the information of the minority that this is the IMF's decision?
Yeah, thank you very much, and then good morning to your viewers. Good morning to my constituents and to all persons who believe and trust that as a country we need to quickly put things in order for our own safety. Now to the specific issues. Bright, don't you think that it is a bit weird that a major pronouncement like this wouldn't have found space in the statement that was issued by IMF, and it will only take the Minister of Information designate to grant an interview to a local radio station? I say this for a very particular reason. If you look at the 2 billion Sino-Hydro agreement that we're talking about, there are two components to it, and this is not the first time these things have happened. We have the main project agreement, which is more technically just the commercial agreement. And you have the deferred payment agreement, or maybe the loan agreement. And usually you have those things. So for example, if you were to look at the Etobo project that we did with the CDB loan, you had a main project agreement. And the main project agreement gives you the technical specifications of what deliverables they are supposed to do. As to how those deliverables are supposed to be financed, it's always captured in the deferred payment agreement or the loan agreement. You cannot give a commercial agreement to a body to look at, and on the basis of that commercial agreement, be able to determine as to whether it is a loan or a barter. What the what IMF came and talked about at the committee level.
Okay, so they actually met the finance committee?
Yes, at the committee level was the issue of the commercial agreement or the main project agreement. But in terms of the deferred payment agreement, they have not taken a statement on, and that is why, and what the NDC had sent to IMF had to do with the deferred payment agreement. That if you look at the financing arrangement, all the characteristics suggest that this is a loan. And now I'm going to explain that. You realize that per the agreement, basically, Sino Hydro is supposed to deliver all the various projects that have been earmarked in the commercial agreement. In terms of the payment, at this particular infrastructure, whatever they are going to put up, is going to be run and delivered by Ghanaians. In the payment structure, or maybe the deferred payment structure, the government of Ghana has to establish an escrow. And all proceeds from the sale of the refined bauxite would have to be put in that particular escrow. The escrow must have a minimum threshold that you can't go below. The reason being that because you do not have a government guarantee, you must always ensure that at any point they can get back their money.
It's like taking a loan and they need to keep that amount in your account.
Now, the escrow is not even going to be situated in Ghana. It's offshore. The other point that needs to be made is that the accruals on this escrow are going to be proceeds from the sale of the refined product. So, for example, if you have, because of the volatility of the price of metals in the market, assuming that at one point or the other you have a situation where there's a collapse of the metal prices, and then you do not have enough, accruals for the repayment schedule that you have, who pays for that? It's the government of Ghana. And that is why they have asked for certain guarantees that are akin to all the conditions that underpin a loan. So when you have a situation where a minister for information comes to say that people had indicated that the 2 billion arrangement was purely was a barter, and that it wasn't a loan. When you do know that what they were looking at was the master project agreement, which in itself was not what the NDC took there. And that's why it did not find expression in the statement they issued. Because this was a thorny issue. And if IMF had come, and beyond, of course, you know that because you are asking us to just look at the loan aspect, you know there were other aspects of our economy that they spoke about. But how come that on this particular one, it didn't find expression in their statement? Because they have not taken a definitive decision on that. And it is because of the fact that what we had sent to them had to do with the deferred payment agreement and not the commercial agreement.
Okay, I'm grateful. Honorable Nati, so this is the Information Minister designate confirming that he said, and the paper is quoting him as having spoken on radio, and the paper also says that, well, the IMF team met the Minister of Finance and later Parliament's Finance Committee. He argues that what the NDC sent to the IMF was not discussed because the IMF has said that it's not ready to take a decision on it. Daily Guide is suggesting that the IMF has taken that decision.
Thank you, Bright. Let me say good morning to our viewers, and let me say good morning to my constituents as well. It is because of their mandate, that is why I'm here. You have not invited me if they have not given me the mandate. And good morning to my colleague. I call him Bongo Man.
Bongo Man.
You also call me Abosoka instead of Ablekuma Center. Right. The fact of the matter is that sometimes I always say that it will get to a point that the NDC or the minority may lose credibility in the sight of the media and international community. Because they always rush to the international community, rush to institutions, rush to the media, and they come back, have no idea as to all what things they are trying to put across. My brother is saying that what they sent to IMF is different from what the response that Kojo Nkrumah have said.
Right.
The fact of the matter is that...
Okay, you go ahead.
The two of us are members of Parliament. This agreement came to Parliament. We have dealt with it on several occasions. We spell out what this agreement is all about and what the trade is going to... In fact, on that day, I remember vividly that the minority was insisting that we should go ahead and say that it's a loan and that they will support the idea. But until we name it loan, they will not going to support it.
Okay. So they're not against the deal, but they only wanted clarification.
Exactly.
That's the argument.
Exactly.
Please.
And what we are also saying that, no, but agreement is a barter trade. We are giving you this, you also give us this. And we spell out what we'll be expecting from you and what we will also be doing on our part as a government. It's as simple. So the question I always ask myself, what's the essence of writing to IMF? What exactly did the NDC want from IMF? What information did they need? That you can't get those informations in the agreements that we have. I'm reliably informed that the IMF met the finance committee 3 days ago. I think you're a member of the finance committee.
I'm a friend to them.
Okay.
No, he's not.
And so, definitely, you might have insight of whatever the IMF discussed with the finance committee. So I'll be surprised that you say that what actually you sent to IMF was not answered.
Okay, now let me read this to you. Now, if this is the response from IMF when they received the letter. Now, he says that I have been in consultation with headquarters, including the legal department, and we're going to discuss this issue with the authorities during the upcoming 7th review mission under the extended credit facility. Now, this was the IMF's first response.
Yeah.
So, does it suggest that this review meeting has taken place?
No,
it has not.
No, the IMF have met the Ministry of Finance before meeting the Finance Committee 3 days ago. So if the IMF are not satisfied with what we have sent to them, I don't think they will come down and come and meet the Finance Committee as well as the Ministry of
Finance. Because I wanted to know whether this review meeting has taken place.
The 7th review has taken place.
Okay.
You see, in fact, the statement that was issued by IMF from their office is as a result of the engagement that they had in terms of the 7th review that they made. So that has been done.
Right.
Now, the point I'm just trying to make, and I will explain to you why.
Quickly, because he's not finished yet.
Oh, okay.
No, he's not finished.
So the issue is that he asked a very, because he was wondering why, he will ask, why were we insisting on they saying that it's a loan and rather than a barter? There's a reason for it. The moment it is classified as a loan, it becomes part of our debt stock. Then we begin to start analyzing in terms of our debt sustainability levels. So there's a direct impact on how we look at our economy.
Whether it becomes a loan or a barter agreement.
So the moment you pick it out of the books in terms of our debt profile, then we have a challenge.
Okay.
And that is the reason why we wanted IMF to make a pronouncement on this.
Okay. I'll come back to you. So, Nate, so you were making a point that once that meeting has taken place between the finance ministry, the finance committee, you think the IMF has made a definite pronouncement on the issue. That's the point you were making.
Yes, I'm not a member of the finance committee, but I'm told that they had a meeting 3 days ago.
Right.
Because a friend of mine is a member of the finance committee, and he has confirmed that the 7th meeting has also been held. The essence of the meeting, from the information I had, was one of these IMF, the 2 billion issue, the bond issue. So if government and IMF have not met to have detailed information as to what the whole structure is about, it will be difficult for IMF to come and say that, oh no, we have no problem with this matter. Now, the NDC is saying that, yes, the discussion that the IMF had with the Finance Committee and Ministry of Finance is not what they wrote to IMF. They want
clarification on the 2 billion deal.
And I'm saying that this clarification has been given to us in Parliament. We have documented that this is what the contract is about. We are giving them this water, they are giving us this phone. And if this is what we are supposed to do as government, we have to do A, B, C, and D. If we fail to do A, B, C, and D, this is what is going to happen. All these things has been spelled out. So if you write to IMF that IMF stop these people from doing this, stop these people from it, you ask yourself, what is the import of it? We are in the same country when we raise a bond of 2 billion, and the same NDC, even to extent that I don't know, I'm told it's 500 cedis caucus deduction. They were able to send a colleague to the US to do all manner of things. What was the end
Talk
result
about this
of
one.
it?
Stop about whether they have deducted money from our money.
No, what was the end of it? So you always rush to the international community, you always rush to the media, and then you come back and realize that all the information that you are getting, you have the information, it is just that you have refused to understand it. You have refused to go along with it because it's a different government. And that is a major problem that we have in this country.
If the argument is that a barter agreement that has arrangement fees, it has characteristics of a loan, are you able to explain that? Why the barter agreement has all that?
But if you are doing a barter agreement, definitely on your part you have a role to play.
Including management fees,
you cannot
legal
fees and
yes,
several
because
other fees.
at the end of the day, you are giving your natural resources out. So you need to involve. Yes, you need to involve the Attorney General. You need to involve the Ministry of Finance. You need to involve all stakeholders.
This is not what they are talking about.
Okay.
But you see, right.
Okay, quickly wrap up on this one.
Yeah, right. Let me just make this point. My friend here is a member of Parliament. There are two agreements that were brought to Parliament. The first one had to do with the master project agreement or the commercial agreement. The other one is the deferred payment agreement.
That's the 2 billion. That's
the 2 billion. That is what. So you have a project. Yeah, so you have the project, then you have how it is going to be financed. You understand? Yeah. Just to reiterate, our point had nothing to do with the master plan. What do you call it? A project agreement.
So you're not against.
So you're not against.
So it was on yes. So it was on the financing arrangement.
Because your constituency is factored in the road project.
Financing arrangement. But you know where the challenge is. When you talk about barter, the understanding would have been that after you have delivered, the people would have also gotten their refined product, which is the
alumina.
The alumina. Yeah. But that was the impression we got. The arrangement is not that. The arrangement is that you are going to pay to cash. I know you are getting the point I'm making. So you are going to have an escrow. You are going to manage in terms of the refinery of the bauxite from aluminium to alumina. You are going to sell that. The accruals will be put in that escrow, and you will need to service the loan based on the payment schedule.
Okay.
That is it. And that has all the characteristics, and he has indicated legal fees. You have, what do you call it? Even insurance and all other things put in that. What shows that this is not a loan?
Okay. All right. I'm grateful, gentlemen. Let's move on. I told you today we'll have only 30 minutes. Now, the stakeholders were told have reached an agreement on the DTT infrastructure. Several outlets reported yesterday there were issues in Parliament between the chairman of the Communications Committee and a member from Ningo Prampram. They have come to explain themselves as to what happened, and from indications they have agreed to agree on whatever was discussed yesterday. But Honorable Nati, this DTT thing, from where we are or where we have gotten to, have we handled it well?
Right. I think that from the beginning, if this meeting, which was held yesterday, was held, I believe that we could have dealt with this matter once and for all. Because yesterday's meeting was not only with the Select Committee of Parliament of Communication, but is a meeting comprises the Attorney General Department, the Finance Ministry, the Private Broadcast Association, and other stakeholders in the media circle. And for me, from the information I've gathered from the Minister of Communication that I've spoken to her, that all issues raised by the minority, and especially my brother from my village, Ningo Prampram, Sam George, those issues were raised and they had a lengthy discussions on it. I listened to both of them on Saturday. Issues that he raised and issues that Sam George also came out with, I believe that are issues that is a matter of concern for all of us. Now, it is clear that it is not going to be managed by the Chinese. It's going to be managed by a Ghanaian company. It's going to be managed by the management aspect of it. It's going to be monitored and our security agencies are going to be part of it. So for me, I believe that since the stakeholders that are involved in this matter, and if, in fact, one of the stakeholders that raised much concern about it is the private broadcast,
the Giba people.
And if all of them are part of the meetings yesterday and the conclusion has been arrived, I think that ends it.
Who should have brought them together right from the beginning?
That's why I'm saying that if the Ministry of Communication have engaged all these stakeholders from the beginning, we could have not gotten to where we are yet now. But all things being equal, the issue has been resolved. Unless maybe stakeholders that took part in the meeting are not satisfied with the issue that was raised. From the information that I've gathered from yesterday up to today, unfortunately yesterday I met some job, we couldn't have enough discussion on the matter. But I believe that at the end of the day, they have all come to agreement as to how we are going to rule out this project. And I think that, for me, I think it is the right direction.
It's good news. I'm grateful. Honorable, so this is where we are. Finally, we have reached an agreement.
Is that it? What is the agreement?
Well, we're told that a 3-point resolution after 4.5 hours closed-door meeting said that the parties would collaborate in joint public education campaigns on the DTT project. That's the agreement reached.
Your station should be part of GIBA, am I right?
Yes, we are part of GIBA.
You see, first and foremost, I think that I want to commend Honorable Kennedy Japan and then Sam George for the manner in which they resolved their issue
yesterday.
Because, strictly speaking, there was a clear misunderstanding. Yes, it is true that there was an arrangement within the committee to not, because they were going to engage, they were going to engage the ministry, not to make any public pronouncement till they finish that. Sam found himself talking on a money platform. And indeed, the minister drew the attention of the chairman of the committee, that's Kennedy Japan, to the fact that he had made some comments on the platform. But what the minister had not told Kennedy Japan was the fact that she had actually created an impression in the media that he had engaged the committee,
every member
of the committee, and even giving some indication that seemed to suggest that they were beneficiaries of the project, and that they were acting hypocritical. So some had to then rebut that also on a public platform. So it was when Ken got to know that, then he realized that, look, the woman had not been very straightforward with them. So that's why I say I'm happy that they both came out and made that, and that is how Parliament should work. Indeed, it's on the basis of that yesterday, the stakeholder meeting that they were supposed to hold, the parliamentary committee decided not to be part of it. But see, there are outstanding issues. One, the minister has not been able to categorically state as to whether Ghana has some contract with Star Times. There has not been. So we do not know if it is there. In the spirit of transparency, let's see what the contract tells us.
Will a meeting scheduled for next 4 weeks not deal with that problem? The story suggests in the meeting.
So it is a request that we are looking at.
Okay.
One of the things GIBA is also looking at is the fact that, look, you are, and it's unfortunate that we are not talking on this IMF thing in terms of the economy, in terms of tax exemptions and other things. Because it was one of the things.
I guess we'll
yes, it is one of the things IMF talked about.
I'm sure it will be out by next. We'll start talking about it.
The other issue has to do with the fact that you are giving some tax waivers to Star Times, as we are told, because that came to Parliament, came to the Finance Committee. So we're giving some tax waivers. The question is, are you ready to give that same freebies to GIBA? In terms of the import and equipment and other things they bring into the country.
I've heard the minister said that she is prepared to give same to any local broadcaster who is engaged in such. I have heard him say that on radio platforms.
She's prepared.
That is what she said.
She's prepared.
Yes.
Meanwhile, you and I know that there are companies in this country, broadcasting companies in this country, who have actually imported equipment into this country and never enjoyed these freebies. Or is it going forward? That is now what you are going to do. That's the other thing. Third, you see this whole idea of the 300 village project that they are making about. What are the details of it? To what extent will that distort the market? It's a concern about that Giba has. Because Giba sees, look, as we speak today, your station, unless what we read was not true, you have laid off workers, haven't you?
Well,
you have laid off workers.
Well,
You
read something.
There are media houses that are laying off people. One of the threats to this current arrangement is the fact that you will have people losing jobs.
But do you know the reason why they laid off the workers? Is it because of this agreement?
No. I didn't say that. I'm just trying to tell you this is going to compound it. That's the point I'm making.
No, this have no link with them laying off their workers. It have no link with it at all.
No, why would no?
Okay, let's move on. It has no link with it.
Did you listen to
Maybe you cannot give the details of it. Maybe you can't give the details of it.
Asking.
Yes. The point I'm just trying to make is that already the media houses are suffering as a result of the current economic conditions. You have media houses that are retrenching people. And then you have this arrangement. And one of the concerns of Giba is that they will lose jobs. So we are talking about local content. We are talking about the minister protecting Ghanaian businesses. We are talking about the fact that the minister is paid using the taxpayers' money. And so the least he can do is to protect the interests of local participants in the industry.
Okay.
That is all that we are asking for.
Okay, let's see if the next meeting is scheduled for within the next 4 weeks is able to answer that. But let's touch on this one finally. Reopening shops of foreigners. Government, the Trade and Industry Ministry has directed the immediate opening of all shops and retail outlets belonging to foreigners that were closed by the task force to retail trade. This decision followed extensive consultation between the ministry and the national executives of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, Minister of National Security, the Nigerian High Commission, and other relevant institutions. This is to permit the various state institutions and agencies to carry out their lawful mandate of enforcing local laws and regulations, including those related to the operation of businesses in Ghana. Mr. Kwejo, Mr. Alan Cheramatin signed this statement. And sure you saw the demonstration of Nigerian businesses in Abuja. Honorable Nate, there are two sides. We belong to ECOWAS. We have signed an agreement, a treaty. On the other hand, we need to protect local businesses. How do we balance this to ensure that our brothers from Nigeria don't get booted out just like that?
Right. In fact, when I was coming, I heard the PRO of GUTA explaining why 15 shops has been open, and that some Nigerians demonstrated at the ECOWAS office
in
Abuja, protesting what they are going through in Ghana. And they asked them to submit all relevant documents that they have. When GUTA and Ministry of Trade went through their documents, they realized that all these people have satisfied the requirements that they are supposed to get to operate in this country.
As a foreign business.
As a foreign business. So they have no choice than to allow them to open their shops. Going forward, I think that it is high time that we look at some of these things and deal with it. We also have laws in this country. I'm coming from a commercial constituency. Yes. Even yesterday, I had a debate with them. They raised some of these concerns. That, look, the Nigerians are taking over their businesses. And ask, how come? The benefits that the Nigerians get at their end, they don't get the same benefits in this country. So when you bring this water, because he uses the Nigeria port, you just bring it to Ghana by road. It is cheaper than he going to Korea or going to China to bring it. Because at the end of the day, it comes to our port here, he has to pay so much compared to what a Nigerian benefiting from his end. So their own becomes cheaper, and everybody wants to get the one that the price is low. That is their major problem. So concerns were raised. I believe that furthermore, the Ministry of Trade need to have further engagement with GUTA as well as the foreign companies, especially those who don't have the necessary requirements to operate in this country. Because you can't get it in in other countries. There are restrictions as to what you have to do. Right. But it looks as if that in our country, Ghana, it's like we have allowed everything to just go on for everybody to just do whatever he or she wants. Just about a week ago, I traveled. When we got to I raised concern about it. When you get to the how do you call it?
The borders?
The airport. And you use the VIP. You see Chinese people, everybody there. I was like,
That's the Ghanaian airport.
I'm telling you. And ask yourself. So I asked the one in charge, I mean, who brought these people? So there's a company wrote to us, a ministry, they are going to do this. I said, but it will not happen. Because even when you are traveling, you are a member of parliament, you've been traveling. You get to even Dubai airport, what do you go through? And you even though you are using a diplomatic passport, they will not just allow you to just pass because you are a member of parliament or a minister. Okay. But in our country here, it's like, look, I said, we have opened the floodgates and everybody is doing whatever he or she wants. I think going forward, we need to put our political difference aside and think about our nation and see how best we can deal with issues that will affect us in the future.
I'm grateful. Have we as a country done anything wrong enforcing local rules just to keep our local businesses in operation? Be brief about it.
No, right, but before, don't you see it's very revealing that you have an MP who superintends over an area where we call Abosokan, where they sell spare parts. On live national television, admits the fact about the cost of duties and other things they pay at the port. Particularly when in... No, hold on.
Please.
On live TV, today, people should just put this. That on live
has
TV,
it been denied?
No. The issue is that, we have had situations... I'll make this point because we have had situations where after there was a claim that import duties and other things had been taken off from Abosokan. Then you have these Abosokan dealers, there were spare part dealers, demonstrating, and the vice president is describing them as fake Abosokan dealers.
Yes,
today you have their own MP.
No.
Yeah, they have their own MP. Let me make my point.
No, you can't make
my own point.
Right. Let me tell you. Yesterday, I had a deba. I had a deba with the commissioner of sex. With the commissioner of sex. It is not true. They are fake spare part dealers, which you know.
Okay.
And I know you are the person behind the video.
You see the point.
All right.
But you see, but on a more serious note,
quickly,
as a country, this is a very delicate issue. In as much as we want to protect our local businessmen in terms of shops and other things, we must do it very carefully because we equally have huge numbers of Ghanaians who also operate in other West African countries. If the laws indicate, because I'm told that even before you can operate within a particular threshold, you must have some particular type of capital amount. Let's insist on those laws. There are people who are supposed to enforce those laws. Those laws should not be put in the hands of people, individuals, you and I, to just go and do. Yes, let's have the state institutions implement these things. And let's be very careful. Sometimes anything that we do in this country, let's always remember that at the end of the day, we have our brothers and sisters in the other West African catchment area.
I'm grateful.
And that is very careful.
I'm grateful. Edward Bauer, Member of Parliament for the Bongo constituency. Greetings to Peter Imbisa and the team there in Bongo. We'll be there with you very soon. Grateful for your Friday morning with us. And then Honorable Ebenezer Nati is Member of Parliament for the Ablekuma Central constituency, member of the NPP. Grateful for your time to have a fantastic weekend. Stay right here. I'll be speaking to Honorable Boniface Abubakar Sadiq, the man who has been moved to the office of the Vice President, a Member of Parliament for Medina. We'll be talking about the Adentan Highway and several other issues that have to do with him. Stay right here. We're back in a moment. Welcome back to the show. Now, we're going to talk about the Medina constituency of the Greater Accra region, exactly what is happening there by way of development. And then, of course, you remember that our campaign to get those foot bridges and completed ones on the Medina Adentan Highway gets some response. Exactly what is happening there? My guess is what will help us to understand. He's a Minister of State at the office of the Vice President and Member of Parliament for that constituency, Medina constituency. I'm talking about Alhaji Boniface Abubakar Sadiq. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So let's start from here. Your constituency, what is happening there? You're the Member of Parliament. The key thing has been that we are development agents, but we only lobby.
Yeah.
What have you lobbied for Medina?
A lot. First of all, let me say good morning to our good viewers.
Sure, they're watching.
Within 2 years, I believe what I have sent to Medina, comparatively, compared to 12 years, I don't think such a thing has gone into Medina. But the point has been that because I have not sold the works I have done in Medina. Now, I'm going to give a skeleton of what I have done in 3 or 4 areas. That is infrastructure, education, health, and employment.
Right.
Now, if you take the case of, let me start, because you started with the food bridges. Now, if you look at the food bridges, it has been in existence for about 10 years now. I was in government at that time, during His Excellency, former President Kufuor's reign. A Chinese contractor was engaged to do the road, and the bridges were part of the road. Unfortunately, they couldn't complete those bridges. We expected that the new government that took over, that was NDC, will have completed it. But from what I heard, they said they were not interested in concrete food bridges. Fine. Now our government has come. Government has gone back to renegotiate, bring back the contractor. And all had to boil down to payments. And so government and the contractor have come to a consensus that if government pays the contractor at least 50% of the outstanding debt, they will come back to site. And I have followed it, seriously with the Minister for Roads and Highways. And the assurance is that, God willing, in October, the contractor will come to site. I pray, and I'm very sure this will happen.
So,
at least.
So your promise of fixing that problem, those food bridges, by the end of October is on course?
It's beginning of October that they will start. They're not the completion. Because the food bridges have been built, the top is now in place. It's left with the climbing side and descending, which is left to be connected. And this is what the contractor is left to add. And the minister has had discussions, government has had discussions with the contractor, who has agreed, because the debt, the outstanding debt is huge. But he has agreed that if 50% of the said debt is availed to him, he will come back to site.
By 1st of October?
Well,
or
I can't say
beginning October?
October. The statement given to me was October. It could be first, it could be middle, it could be ending October. The most important thing is to get the contractor on site
by
to begin
October.
by October.
Today is 28th.
Yes.
And that contractor on site is premised on the fact that 50% of the sum is paid. Are you aware if that is being sorted
It's
out?
being worked out by the Minister of Finance and the Minister for Roads and Highways. I should have been with the minister yesterday, but unfortunately the minister is not in town. But as soon as he arrives back to Ghana, I'll be there with him to sort things out.
The assurance is that October.
October.
We'll get a contractor there.
Coming back. I even made an announcement some time back. So October is just around the corner. And I hope and pray that the contractor will come. Now,
even before you go on, you saw what happened in Takwa. I'm sure you read about it in the newspapers, you saw it on TV, where the people blocked the road, bent ties. And virtually won't allow any activity. You foresee that happening on the Adenta Medina Highway?
No, I don't foresee that. I don't foresee that. And I'm very sure that the minister will really meet his words. And so I don't foresee that. I feel much pain because I know what is happening.
The people have demonstrated once.
Yes, I know what is happening in Medina and what actually happens, where the people are always killed by vehicular traffic. You know, it's serious, to be honest. I feel so bad because you're bringing up this matter refreshes my memory of a very lovely man who had stayed here in Ghana for more than 50 years. And his family decided that he should relocate, go back to Mali. Just the eve day of his departure, he decided to go and bid farewell to his friends to tell them that if they don't see him, he was gone back. On his way to go and see the people, Zungu Junction, he was knocked down by a car and he died. I believe if the footbridge had been in place, I doubt, this man's life. Though we believe, as a Muslim, I believe death is a necessary end, and I believe in destiny. And we believe in destiny because we believe that when you are born, whatever you do on this earth is written. But that should not be an excuse, so that you always refer to God. We must get the bridges in place, which has to be done.
October is the time we're looking at.
Yes. Now, let me go further because you don't have time. I will start with education. Now, when we had a new municipal director of education who was transferred into the constituency, as soon as she came, her major problem was accommodation. I personally footed the bill of 19,000 to get proper accommodation for the lady so that she can impact well on the teachers and the children in the community. Furthermore, recently the students were having mock exams. I provided them with vehicle. I gave them money, about 10,000 Ghana cedis, to get their papers and invigilators to help them to have a very serene environment to have their exams. This was done by me, but it was never broadcast, sent on air. Currently, if you ask the municipal director of education, her ties that she used, her car, under her car, that's Navara, totally worn out. Anywhere she'll be arrested. Because when she moves some few kilometers, the tires will more or less deflate. She always experiences flat tire. I provided her with 2,600 to set up the vehicle, the tires.
So those are efforts at improving the education sector?
Yes, to improve education sector. One school, that's number 3, Amo. Anybody who knows they can go there now. I provided 7,000 to get the school wired because they have no light. So when you enter the classroom, heat. So I thought they need to be connected. I provided them with money to have those things fixed. Now, just last week, I signed a facility of 24,000 Ghana cedis for 30 students. 30 students through my Get Fund to get their fees paid in tertiary institutions. Legon, Islamic University, Cape Coast, UDS, and Technical University. Minimum, if you don't get, is 500 Ghana cedis. Maximum was 2,000 Ghana cedis that I provided. Secondly, I provided another group of 50 guys with 25,000 Ghana cedis. You go to the assembly through my common fund, provided to pay for their education. So in terms of education, I've so far expended not less than 50,000 Ghana cedis just to help students. That is just to tell you. WAS, WAS came second during their science maths quiz. I tried to encourage them. I gave them 3,000 Ghana cedis as a kind of reward for them to do better. Presec featured in the program. I gave them 2,000 Ghana cedis. I provided the secretariat, the offices of the Municipal Education Directorate with TV sets, just for them to be abreast with news and some of their educational programs, so that they can help.
So for you, you're on track.
I'm on track. 2, let me end. I have more, but I'll just end because I have other ones. Now, there are 2 schools that, through my collaboration and interaction with an Indian and a Ghanaian company, they are going to set up computer labs for 2 schools in Medina. They have even paid for the training of the computer IT teachers in those schools, Islamic and Umar ibn Attab. You ask them now, they will tell you. Now, if you come in terms of infrastructure, when you go to Medina, go to Zongo, you'll find an AstroTurf park FIFA standard. We have it's going to be, you have your washrooms, everything, dressing room is there. We have basketball courts, volleyball courts, multi-purpose courts, and we have 5-a-side AstroTurf again pitches. The whole place is walled. It's floor lights set.
Okay.
Now, let me just mention, because there's no time.
Yes.
Now we have
because I wanted to find out how is this impacting on development in the constituency.
Let me tell you. First of all, if you take football as another area that Ghana as a whole treasure, sports, football is number one. And anytime you check, whenever there's selection to the Black Stars, not less than 5 people come from Medina. Not less than 5. When you take people like Fatawu, Abdurrahman, we have Christian Achu. They all come from Medina. So, and we have a whole chunk of potential footballers in Medina. Apart from that, it will enhance development in the sense that with the AstroTurf, people will be ready to play football on the turf from 8 o'clock to dawn. So you make money, and it will help development in the area.
Unfortunately, I have to wrap up, but let me ask you this. Yes,
let me tell you.
I'm sure you have time to deal with several other issues.
But I'll just mention a few. If you take Medina, Melcombe or Kansi Road, is currently on construction. Melcombe, Pentecost Road has been awarded. Post Office Road, Nkwantanai Road, it has been awarded. Powerland roads have been awarded. All these things are on track. You go to Usuansa, now you go to Danfa, Ayimensa, Adenta West. I've given them toilets and boreholes. I've provided 19 boreholes in Medina. So what I will have given, if we had time, I will have given you this 16 out of 19.
We'll come back to
out of the 19 boreholes, 16 by courtesy of Qatar Charity. Because of my relationship with them, we have 16.
You get it.
I have a sheikh from Dubai. He's giving me 3. So I've spread everything in Medina.
Okay.
But
finally,
I have more to talk about.
Yes, we'll bring you back to talk about.
Yes.
But finally, how are you faring at the office of the Vice President?
I've just begun. And very soon, you see me being very effective.
You're comfortable?
Why not? I'm a player. As a utility player, don't think of one particular place. Check my political history.
Because some said it's a demotion.
For me, as a player, your team coach or manager could take you from left wing to the right wing at any time. I don't mind. It's not about the position. It's about impacting on Ghana. Because the president, His Excellency Nana Addo, is the appointing authority. And I see him as the manager of a team, hypothetically. So he can decide at any point in time to tell you that, oh, I'm moving you from this position to go to this position so that you can impact more on that place.
And you need to play
and
that
he spoke to me.
I'm grateful.
So I don't have any problem
I am grateful
at all.
for your time.
But let me assure people in Pantine that road has been a problem. I can't sleep, especially with some of the roads, and people are so disturbed about it. It was awarded to a contractor. He moved out of sight, but we are fighting to bring him back. But before that, I'm arranging through my own efforts to ensure that within the next 2 weeks, I will get a grader and a dozer to come and grade the road for them. I've done that for other roads.
I am
and
grateful.
This will come on course.
He's a member of parliament for the Medina constituency, the Minister of State at the Office of the Vice President, Honorable Boniface Abubakar Sadiq. I'm so grateful for Friday morning. I'm sure we'll have more time to talk about Medina. Stay with us, sports and more on the show.
My name is Mrs. Amua. I have been married for 2 years and I'm staying with my husband at his family house. I hate the idea of staying there. I have tried convincing him to move out of his family house, but he still insists he wants to stay there. The most annoying part is that I have to share everything in my home with my in-laws. I hate it. I want to leave the marriage. What should I do?
Well, that's the question on Mrs. Amwa's mind, and she's asking Councillor Luchon, who's joining me in studio today, to help her answer this question. Councillor,
my dear.
So she's with her in-laws. They share almost everything. Where does that, plan of leaving to cleaving start?
Thank you so much. Let me say a cherished good morning to our cherished viewers everywhere you are. You see, one of the most difficult things that you can never erase from your life is to marry a man who seems responsible but irresponsible and live with you in their family house.
But maybe, what if the situation too is that he doesn't have money in our
Then he's
economic
not qualified to marry.
rent?
He's not qualified to marry.
Just because he can't afford rent?
Listen, my brother, my sister, listen. Any man who comes to propose to you and cannot feed himself 3 square meals plus snack and cannot provide shelter is disqualified for marriage but qualified for employment.
But must everyone eat 3 square meals and a snack?
If you
unless they're on a diet. What
no,
if
it's
on a
not.
diet?
No, I mean if you can provide for yourself 3 square meals plus common snacks, so boro agricultural akoshicheba. I mean after eating minje sabula yanda. I mean pike pofio kwalo mentos ko jesan yoda. You know what I'm talking about? Or people don't even drink bottled water these days.
Yes,
they only keep the empty bottle and refill.
with
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Or do you
what's wrong with that?
Or you find them at the workplace, they don't eat breakfast. They eat 11 o'clock, banku and opoku, edging, so they'll just be coughing water. So the dispenser knows their face. When they get there, they dispense to drink water. Such people are disqualified to marry. So if such a person doesn't have a shelter, if you respect a woman, you provide her decent shelter. Right. Let me repeat. If you respect a woman and wants to make her a wife, like this woman, make her a missus, you provide her a decent place of abode. So if you are in a single room, which is divided with a full skirting, obey the wind, chamber, and hall. The wind blows, you see the bed. Such particular accommodation, if you respect a woman, you don't put her in that place. This is why I'm saying that if somebody takes you to the family house, my sister, there are 2 forms of having your in-laws to fight you. If I've built my own house, and my mother comes into that house, the level of competition is minimal. If I build my house in my father's house, on my father's plot, and my face is even turned away, but we use 1 gate in the main house, the trouble is different. If there is an old room in the house, and they give me opportunity to renovate, and add toilets and bath inside, here, so that I become self-contained, but we use the same corridor that my wife must constantly greet the mother-in-law. What is this disrespect? So the forms of pain you go through is dependent on the way your husband presents you to the family as an in-law. This particular woman will suffer, the children will suffer, she will grow with a bad mind, she'll become a wrong model for marriage, because nobody I've met on earth, and I'm telling you with my age, I've not met anybody who have lived in a family house and have any good story.
I have.
Have you married before?
I haven't. I'm not saying I haven't married, but I know people who live in family houses and are doing perfect with their in-laws.
Their husbands are living with their mothers and they are doing fine.
Yes.
Hey, this is one of the biggest
mistakes. For more than maybe 10 years, 20 years.
No, they are not speaking the truth to you. Bring them to me, and I'll record them and play back to you.
No, but I mean, you would see.
No,
and you are there. Sometimes
my sister, what you see, never interpret what you see to what is there. You understand what I'm saying? Because and everybody who is an in-law, my wife, I have a son. So my wife is a troublesome future mother-in-law. She can't run away from it. Every woman who has a son is a future troublesome mother-in-law.
Likewise, a man who has a daughter?
No, men who are, oh please, one of the things you learn is that
because you're protective of your daughters.
Look, a man who has, like you, no matter how your father is protective with you, if you get the right man, your father becomes a friend to that man.
So why don't you think it's the same for
women? The day my mother becomes a friend to my wife, that's the end of the marriage.
Well, that's your side.
That is the standard. That's the standard.
Created by...
Let me explain to you. When you say an in-law, if I marry you, by chance, as a second wife, as we speak now, if I marry you...
It won't happen anyway. No chance will allow that.
An opportunity.
It won't happen, please.
Be careful.
So continue your statement.
Careful, right? Please keep it on record. You can become.
Only in dreams. It is not even a possibility, but carry on.
Look, don't worry. Hello, girl.
It's an example, so you are allowed to set it.
Catherine, sorry, it's a slip of tongue.
So use Catherine, she's not here today.
No, it's a slip of tongue. They want to see the record. What I'm saying. Listen very carefully. Look, like you become a wife to me, your mother is my mother-in-law.
Right.
So between me, you and your mother, who is the law? You. when we say mother-in-law, you make us to become mother-in-law. So you are the law. So I cannot operate with your mother without you. Right. But here's the case that once your wife lives with the family in the house, she become the house help. She become the common thing in their sight. Everything she does, she has to make sure that it goes straight to the family. I'm saying that it's different from when I have my own house. Right. And my mother come to visit. Then me, the CEO of the company, I will manage the house properly. But such places, even me, I can't manage the house because the house is not mine. It's my father's house. So my mother has more rights than me. If my mother has more rights than me, then what right do I have that I can even give my wife? Can you imagine in the family house? Only sisters of such men will come and say, Mingo shio milk kakra. How do you pour milk kakra? Oh, my sister, can I pour some of the milk and bring back? Imagine your sister-in-law comes for a tin of milk that you open and pour small by management. She's going to pour. Can you go? Hello, I do have batch of milk in the way. And you milk powder. It's not milk powder.
Oh, counselor.
Tin milk. I do have batch of milk. No, where na damn. Ni papa je milk akra na wodi na chi te se akonfo mo ba je nko milk ne kura de mi hwe kura be say 1 teaspoon. Look, hey, it's so painful. I met a girl who was 38 years. She has a mark on her hand. They said the mother was cooking in the family house, and then they said the ash, and soon they woke up and went under the dress of one of the aunties. The auntie came and said, "Didn't I tell you not to cook when we've washed?" She just used her leg, push the coal pot, and she was funny. Then the hot water poured on her hand. They've done everything. Till today, she's 38 years. The scar is there. When you talk to her, this story was told by the mother. How do you think this girl will feel?
I can understand
so she will
that.
If a man respects you, he will never take you to your family house.
Don't we have
Lazy
good
men.
in-laws who will treat you very well even though you're staying with them and allow your privacy?
But every good in-law is the in-law who respects your privacy. And your privacy is only respect when you create one. Not when your husband comes to use me, my husband's property as his privacy.
But what if it's a transition home and so maybe we're building our house or renting a place
but
it's not ready and so
don't marry, my sister. Don't marry. Wicked men, lazy cucumber men walking on the surface of Ghana and using the economy as an excuse. People have grown in homes. You have a high die. My imagine said, now we're high. Actually, so 2 months we'll leave. Go and see Kaswa. Okay. And they will show you pictures. Show me to form foundation in here. And then anybody say, Hanan Kolan better. Once who draw, may dream percent and can Kolani and my swimming pool. This is photograph. Photoshop.
You don't believe
you have 4 children and you see a Photoshop waiting for you. Some men are too wicked that God shouldn't even create them. Very wicked.
No, but counselor,
very
let's
wicked.
be real. Let's be realistic. Because you've got people who are of age. They are working. They have some
I said, don't marry. You are of age. Don't marry.
No, listen. Let me end with this. You've got parents who maybe this is their only child.
So
they've got a big house.
They should marry him.
And they ask you.
They should marry him.
Who should marry the parents?
I'm the only son of my mother. And they have a big house in Osu. But I left.
That was your choice.
No, because that is just sensible. I respect my wife and her privacy because my wife can decide to do anything in her house. But in our family house, anything she does is music that they can give the lyrical content to Sarkodia to use. So we'll not waste that energy. You respect women.
No, counselor. Let's put it this scenario. Only child, maybe the father has passed away, so only mother is living in the big house.
Only child is in US. Who is living with them in the house? People who are only child. They are struggling in the US. Who is living with them? Let's stop these flimsy excuses.
They have to pay for house help.
Hello,
and carers.
I have money to pay.
But if I'm there with my wife, why can't I, you know?
Because of this mentality, we have to pay for light bill, pay for water bill. Lazy cucumber men who want to stay in the house. Look, even those who are living that their parents are no more, they are divorced. Your father is in Equator. Your mother is in Ecuador. You pay Equator light bill. You pay Ecuador light bill. You understand what I'm talking about? It is you as a son. My mother left the father and mother and became one with my father. I am also living to become one with my wife. I respect my wife so much to the extent that I don't want anybody to come and do anything against her. So if we live in a house and my sisters come there, the kitchen of my wife is a no-go area until they take permission from her, and it's a standard. But when we live in my family house and we have a big kitchen, which is about 2-bedroom house that my mother was using, now she's old. She's upstairs. So the downstairs is for my wife. And my sisters can they ask permission before going to the kitchen?
Well, they should. Because it's still her territory now.
This is a property of the family. And everything in the fridge is the property of the family.
But they didn't.
So you have a soup that is waiting for 1 week. About your lochi, granite soup. Or you come and see, you come and meet your sisters-in-law in the family house. They bring the granite soup and they don't even want to eat the soup. They point Nane, Opoku. They crucify the soup. You come, all you see, sir. Sefe. Then you pass, you go inside. Holy Ghost, hold my tongue. Holy Ghost, hold my heart. This soup is for 1 week. Then you take the phone. Hello, George. Hello, George. George, I don't know what to say now. Come and see your sisters. The 1 week granite soup. They are granoting the soup in the place. Your husband will just say, I'll talk to them. When they pick the phone and they answer, Adwa, na enkwa, hey, brah. Enkwa na ya frau. Bra enti enya wo den enkwa na ya frau. Enkwa ya ye di kran chire nkura. Ye mia ye nim say ye di. Hallelujah.
Amen.
If you respect a woman, you provide shelter for her. So any man, you are not married. Any man who wants to marry you and is suggested to be a 4-bedroom house, wait until he has a house. And whilst you are waiting, if another man comes with a house, go inside. Live in a house with comfort. You understand what I'm talking about? Don't. Your father will come and visit you after marriage, and they want to. Your father is diabetic. They want to wee. They have to give them small bottle like this. Ashama umi. Nachia will go tabi.
Let's not go there. But final advice to Mrs. Samoa. So should she leave the husband now?
To where?
That's the question.
She should frustrate the husband to leave. One of the first signs of frustration is that deny him of sexual intercourse. Every erection direct to the mother. Mrs. Samoa, listen carefully. You too, your son. How do you allow yourself to be married to such a home, Mrs. Samoa? Why? Your family house, there's no place to sleep. A man wants to marry you and he can't tell you where we'll live after marriage. And you too, you follow him to the family house. You are the only Christian in Jerusalem. Shame on you. You're going to suffer with these children. Don't convince your husband to go. If a man is sensible, you don't wait for your wife to remind you that go and rent. Don't do that to yourself. Mrs. Samoa asks for you, you come for counseling. The first one I give is a tidbit. Come and then I'll show you what to do to cause this man to lose his intention. Because such men, everything you tell them, their mother will say, look, a man just delivered, the woman has delivered. Unfortunately, you have to team echo, resume sexual intercourse. And the orgasm sound of the woman is strange. And this is a family house. The man says, anytime they attend, the mother comes, hey, then koso. Bibia da boko, oba wa ofufro. Then so for 11 months now, they can't do anything. If you respect a woman, you provide her shelter.
Anyway,
this is our 0277 60 96 44. Not only Mrs. Sama, you too, a guy wants to marry you and he doesn't have a shelter in. Don't use love. Love doesn't pay rent. 0277 60 96 44. God will bless you this week.
Indeed, God will bless you. But that's counselor's advice to you, Mrs. Amu. I hope you do something about it. But you can contact him on the numbers he's just giving you. That's all we have for you on relationships. And indeed, if you're having that issue concerning living with in-laws and you want a way to find solution to that, you should contact Councillor Luchot if you side with him. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more here on New Day. We've got Kodrenchi coming in studio to give us a vibrant Friday to make you ready for the weekend. And of course, World Hearts Day is being celebrated tomorrow with a walk starting from A4 Sutherland's Park across Accra back to A4 Sutherland's Park. And we're raising funds, so make sure you go there with a huge check to support the 3 Foundation. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more here on New Day. Stay with us.
Promise we deliver. I told you earlier, for those of you on social media, to join me on TV3 because we've got the man who brought you all the love songs you could ever think of. Call him the world's greatest songwriter, Africa's favorite son, the maestro, the music man, Supremo, Kodrenchi himself is here. Chief, Akwaba. How's everything doing? Everything going, sir?
Great.
How are you these days? I'm curious to know.
I'm blessed. I just returned from the US, doing 6 different states.
Right.
And it was quite.
The feeling, what was it like?
It was great.
This is what you do.
That's
what
But
going back to do it all over again, how does it feel?
It feels great. The fans were there. The front line was occupied by the ladies.
Okay.
Usually they sang every word with me. And it felt good.
I can imagine you sang Senia will see what done.
All of that. Yes. All of that.
This is good. So, Kodrenchi, the last time we heard from you was the Supremo track.
Sure. No, I think there's been another track after
Yes,
that one.
yes.
Atitiakuma.
Yes, Atitiakuma. That's
Correct.
right, Atitiakuma. Interesting titles you have there. Supremo, Atitiakuma, Shona, Basmomi. Interesting.
Yeah.
Where do you grab them from?
I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of research. I try to tap into conversations from, you know, so I try as much as I can to be original. Find titles that has not been overused.
Okay.
So a word like Atitiakuma, I made it up.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
Heartbreak.
Okay.
Yeah.
The heartbreaker. I see. A lot of hearts are being broken these days. You're gracing the Legends Night stage. This is not the first time, anyway.
Yeah.
But you're gracing the Legends Night. So you're sharing the stage with Samini, with Daddy Lumba.
Correct.
What are we to expect from you?
I'm looking for, a great night.
Okay.
I share the stage with both artists a few other times. With Kojo Fosu, Daddy Lumba. We filled Bristol Academy twice.
Right.
Which is, a location, a venue that had all the Madonnas and the rest playing. So we did that. With Samini, I think about 2 years ago, we did a show in Kumasi. And we have other plans, ahead, but this is the beginning.
This is the beginning.
And tomorrow, having them on stage feels great.
The kind of songs that you write and how you piece the words together, do you get the feeling that, you know, your legacy is being emulated by some youngsters? Do you get the feeling?
I think I'm the most covered out, artist at the moment. Check what's going on.
Okay.
All the young ones, I hear, Obiba, Mam, everybody is covering that phrase.
Right,
You know, Becca has done it. Obiba, Manimio. That they know that phrase. And I hear different versions of Flamenco. And it feels great to see that all the young ones are tapping from what is there. And it's quite fulfilling.
It's fulfilling for you.
Yeah.
The instrumentation that you bring to bear, on the production, the composition, the groove style, rhythm, song structure is par excellence, especially your instrumentation. You got a wizard like Kwame Yeboah working by your side.
Sure.
And some have argued that, look, you can't get it wrong with the Kojo instrumentation. How difficult is it working with you to get the instrumentation down?
I play piano myself. I play a bit of guitar. I used to even play guitar on stage and sing. Was all of the classic handles, classic vibes. And so my music starts, the composition starts with the piano. I will start my thing on piano, get in the mood. Then the melodies come first before I start putting the words together. Because in that way, the feeling, it's not like recitation. There are melodies. You sing according to melodies. So sometimes when I sing and I'm using chi, you have to listen close. Because I won't sing, when you sing it raw, it's easier for the listener. But if there is melody to it, you have to listen close to get the words right. But when you do that and it grabs you, it stays with you for a longer time. And I take a lot of time in putting you set the mood before you find the right words to fit the mood. If it's a melancholy mood, you gotta be a heartbreak song.
All right.
You understand what I'm saying? Okay, that's it.
Okay, so that's an example of that.
That's a hina mitinye. You cannot sing a hina mitinye it cannot be a dance track. It gotta be a song that a lady will listen to when she's going through some kind of pain. With a pillow. My songs are like the pillow.
The pillow.
You go back to it. It helps you to cry because crying sometimes is therapeutic. You know. And so you need songs that. But it's not all the love songs that are. I have a song like Emrika. It's quite a.
It's a danceable tune.
Yeah, it's a danceable
but it's
tune.
It's
telling you, my brother, if you don't do this right, or sister, if you don't do this right, I'm off.
So you write your songs, you sing them.
I sing them some of the earlier ones. I played everything myself.
Wow.
Konoba, I played everything.
Wow.
Minyan Taban, the sax, apart from the saxophone.
Okay.
And the drum that was played by Jose, I played. You know, I worked with Kwame Yeboah from I Love Your Style.
Okay.
I've been working with great artists.
But you did the earlier ones.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Now, you write the songs, you sing them, you recorded some.
Yeah.
There are some who say that, look, not every artist is cut for songwriting.
Sure.
Some of them should just be singing.
Sure.
But they insist that, look, they want to write and sing.
Yeah.
What do you advise?
Yes, you're right. It is not everyone who is given that talent of putting songs together. Whitney Houston, great voice.
Right.
I mean, she sang them and they became, a song of Dolly Parton.
Right.
I Always Love You.
Yes.
Look at where she took it.
Exactly.
It's become her song now.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Dolly Parton wrote it and sang it.
But she's owned it, perfected it.
Exactly. That's what it is. I think in the earlier days, you had people like the station master writing songs like Ponkwa Bodam. He believed he didn't have the right voice for it, so he gave it to Bob Cole.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? But now
it.
everybody writes a song and they want to sing it by themselves. Okay. I have songs that I've written with other artists in mind.
Okay.
I have songs that
You've written songs and you're choosing people to sing it.
This song will be good for this artist.
Okay.
Yeah.
For example, who have you written a song?
I've written a song. I gave a song to Kontinhene.
Okay.
Megizege.
Okay.
It's my song.
Okay.
You know, so I gave it to him. My song.
Wow.
You see me. It was a song that I've completed.
Wow.
He worked with him on Media NY, and I decided to give him that song. And I gave him the idea, go do a research on Megizege and use it. But the song was already recorded.
Already done. You are known for releasing albums. I mean, back in the day, I could monitor every 2 years. I'd get an album from Kujointri, guaranteed.
Yeah.
And then the 24th night concerts, guaranteed. We'll hear songs.
It's still
from
happening.
Where are the albums?
The albums are still. You can still find them. I'm working on a new one which will be out before December.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. So we're performing this Saturday, is it?
Sure.
Saturday with
tomorrow.
Tomorrow. It is tomorrow. Let me say tomorrow. Tomorrow at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
We're meeting where?
Kempinski
Gold Coast Hotel, and Daddy Lumba will be there. Kujointri will be there.
No, Daddy Lumba Samini.
Kujointri is here. Kujointri is here. Yes, you are promising us a blast.
Hey,
that's what you're promising us.
You can miss this.
Okay,
you can miss this.
This is our black box here on TV3 Newday. It looks like an airplane black box.
You know.
So there are questions in there. It's more like a pick and act. You want to pick and choose?
Let me see that one.
Okay, that's track one. Okay, so what is the name of your first partner? I'm not talking about Rockling. I'm talking about your first partner.
My first partner. Are you talking about in terms of, because you're talking about...
No, your partner, I'm saying, your lobby.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Selena.
Selena. Okay, Selena. Let's pick another one.
Okay.
Let's see. All right, music man. How many exes do you have?
Okay. I don't want to lie, but I need to do some calculation, but not many. Not many.
So not many.
Except not many.
Like a full track, like 8? Like a full album, like 8, 10?
Let's say...
Within that neighborhood?
Yeah, within that.
Okay,
yeah.
So let's pick the last one.
The last one.
Okay, let me juggle it.
Juggle it.
Let me juggle it.
Okay, so it's
Here
cool.
we go.
Okay, that one.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the music man.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what will you listen to, reggae or R&B?
Both.
Both?
Because I listen to everything. That's what I do.
You listen to
I listen to Brazilian music. I listen to everything.
Everything?
Every day when I get up, I wake up, I want to hear a new song.
Okay.
Something I haven't heard before.
Something you haven't heard before. Is that why you're unique?
That's what I do. I need something that will feed me.
Okay.
The song, of course, the songs that I've heard before will surely feed me, but I need something fresh that will motivate me.
Right.
You know, something I haven't heard before. That's what I do.
Which is your favorite Kujointri song?
It's not out yet.
It's not out yet?
No.
Thus far, what we've had, which is your favorite from among it?
All of it.
All of it. I see. Kujointri, thank you very much. Tomorrow, we will see you.
Hey.
But Koko likes
Okay. Yeah. You have a great voice. Maybe the next album, the next song, I'll invite you to the studio.
I see, man.
Yeah,
I'll be happy. I'll be happy.
TV3 used to be there when I was rehearsing.
Yeah.
You know, this is my home, man.
Kojenshi, thank you very much. So tomorrow, 8 p.m., we're meeting at the Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel. 7 p.m. actually, but the gates open at 6 p.m. And if you don't come early, you may just lose a lot of local fuel.
Before they are ushered into this.
Okay, so there's a little finger food, and then you get into the real deal.
Yes.
Kojuenchi, Dadiloma, Samini, we're going to be there tomorrow.
Experience with Vodafone.
Okay, Vodafone is going to be there. We'll see you on Monday. I'll be on your radio right about now. Community Connect, 3FM 92.7. We're talking about Adenta Highway, and the maestro is Grace Star Friday. Maestro, thank you.